I got all I want, and I got all I need, and I got everything. I got you and me. All I want, I got all I need.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Marriage is the Best. Today we're doing a different kind of episode where we're basically just telling a story about the last month. So sit back and enjoy our tale, this tale of how the last month has been. Sometimes marriage is just hard, not fun, not sexy, just hard. That is one of the harsh realities of the marriages that we live in. And sometimes they require us to lose a lot of ourselves. So I recently had to exercise a little bit of that in our marriage in the last 4 weeks. It all started 4 weeks ago when Rebecca became ill. So it was a warm and beautiful Saturday, and my wife had a couple baby showers to go to. She left in the early morning, didn't return until later that evening. I think she got, like a full 8 or 9 hours away. She had a good time. She put down her mental load for a while, and it was really refreshing, albeit not fixing anything, but refreshing nonetheless. Saturday went really well, and I worked hard on the house, enlisted the worker bees to help me manage the house. Sunday rolls around, we finish our weekend and move into another week of work. The following weekend, Becca gets sick. And when I sick, I mean like fever, aches, throwing up all night in the one hole, it's just coming everywhere. It came on crazy fast. So obviously I take the kids to church. We let her rest and recuperate. She's mostly better by Monday, but basically she just kind of has to take Sunday completely off. So kind of solo parenting Sunday on this second weekend, and it was a little bit crazy, but we got through it. She's mostly better by the time Monday afternoon rolls around, and so we have another work week, kind of jump back into counseling, jump back into the craziness of life, and then we have a conversation about, hey, next weekend shouldn't be so crazy. We're going to have a lot less going on, more rest, but that weekend after, she has a weekend retreat thing. So we've got this kind of in-between rest weekend, and then she's got this retreat that she's going to. So yeah, mentally, I'm preparing myself to make it, just take it really, really easy on this in-between weekend and recharge enough to face another weekend thereafter without a spouse. And then, for a side note, I think the most clients I've ever seen in a 2-week period I saw during those 2 weeks. So I'm a little bit weary. So weekend number 3 rolls around, and I'm like counting them at this point. And behold, sickness strikes again. This time it hits on Saturday night and rolls through Sunday into Monday morning. So it's a bigger sickness. Becca is not feeling well at all. And she's just knocked out, basically in a cave, away from everybody, trying to just recuperate, trying to, rest and feel better. Monday morning rolls around, and I realize that I'm going to have to cancel work. And I don't love canceling. I don't love canceling sessions. Ironically, I recorded an episode that very Sunday night on influence. And I said in that episode that I used to be really bad at taking off work when my wife was sick. And I used that as an example for y'all of an area of growth for me. So it doesn't mean it's easy, but I did it. I put aside my anxiety surrounding providing income as the sole income provider, the anxiety of letting down clients, obviously, for canceling, which isn't really a thing. Everybody's super, super understanding. The anxiety of inconveniencing our staff, who are phenomenal people, but they obviously have to call. And then the weariness just set deeper and deeper and deeper into my bones. So let's just say that I was not that great of a dad on Monday. I was really distracted. And I think looking back on it, it was really because of just how anxious I was about the whole taking work off, calling it off, and then just the weariness that had been so present in the season. So So I was super distracted, irritable, anxious, stressed. I raised my voice more times than I wanted to. I did not preserve and build up my relationships with the five. It really was it was an awful weekend. It was an awful Monday. The next day, Becca's still not doing well. End up having to cancel the next day. And I on that Tuesday, I kind of like check myself a little bit, and I have like a check in my spirit, and essentially I don't want Tuesday to go anything like Monday. And what I had to do is I had to kind of set aside that anxiety that I was carrying from the day before about clients, how they're going to feel, what it's going to be like, the inconvenience of everyone included. And I had to just kind of set all that aside, get kids to school that day, and just kind of plug in. So Tuesday went a lot better. I found a little bit more grace for myself and for the kiddos. I just poured more openly and more freely into the cups of the kids. I dropped a lot of that anxiety and stress. And my faith definitely helped to get back on track, and just to kind of find that grace, find that. And then I was also able to connect with a couple really great friends. It was super, super nice. We were able to play some video games together. We talked and chatted about our lives. And it was really uplifting to have them around for kind of that recuperation on Tuesday night. So Wednesday comes around. I worked a partial, so I canceled the kind of early morning just to kind of give Becca maximum rest, took kids to school, the kids that were feeling well that day, and just to kind of complete the rest as much as we could. So off Monday, off Tuesday, and then I go in a couple hours late on Wednesday. So work went really great. Ran home, made dinner, engaged with the kiddos, and then I attempted to squeeze in 20 minutes with Bex, because, we just hadn't really been able to connect. She was literally in a 14 by 10 room for the vast majority of the time. So she's in there, she's sick, she's trying to quarantine, not really quarantine, but she's just trying to feel better. She can't eat anything. She's just feeling awful. And so we don't have time. She doesn't have margin for engaging or connecting or talking. And so we don't. And it's a bummer, I'm at this point, I just feel really deeply, profoundly discouraged and weary. And I identified over the weekend, I was just starting to feel out of touch, feeling disconnected, feeling unseen, feeling not known, feeling really underappreciated and misunderstood. So just all these kind of negative feelings rolling around. And I even attempted, on that night to say, hey, I'm feeling a little this way. But in her sickness, she really wasn't able to hear me. I think that she was so unwell and so bogged down by it and just trying to feel better that I wasn't able to get through. And so that, kind of exacerbated just kind of feeling alone and disconnected. Not fun. So weekend 4 rolls around, and you know what? Becca has that women's retreat. And she gets to go. Obviously I'm not gonna stop her from going to this women's retreat and kind of doing the things that she needs to do in order to feel encouraged on a spiritual level. Not to mention that one of her favorite professors was a keynote speaker at this retreat. So she gets to go. And she goes, I take the kids on an adventure. It ends up being a crazy adventure, a 10-hour day away from the wifey. And that is just the reality of marriage sometimes. Sometimes it is just like that inconvenient. And I think in marriage, we just have to be willing to take those losses, take those seasons. This month of disconnect, of difficulty, of lots of time apart was really difficult. It really stunk. It was one of those seasons where you just kind of end up feeling really, really far apart. And it ends really well. So just today and yesterday night, we were able to just kind of talk. And in talking and spending, an hour or so together for the last couple of nights, just kind of reinvesting, reconnecting, talking through life, talking through thoughts and feelings about different topics, and just getting reacquainted with that rhythm has really filled up the bucket like substantially. And that's why in so many of our previous episodes, we've talked about rhythms that make a difference in our marriages. If we didn't have the rhythm of connecting extremely frequently, day to day, 20 minutes, and investing in those conversations, the touch base of our hours that we've been able to spend in the last 3 days really wouldn't fill us like they do. We've kind of etched into the system a receptivity and a filling up because of really frequent inputs and really frequent reps in that area. So we can reconnect and move through a difficult season like we had fairly quickly and fairly resiliently because we have systems of reconnecting. So, we've got a date night scheduled next Friday. So that's going to be, we're really looking forward to that. Got a couple dates scheduled for April. We've got time kind of set aside for celebration for a kid's birthday. We have recently we did our financial kind of meeting, state of the finances meeting, and that was really helpful. So we're just having all these updating conversations. We connected over a recent like some friendship stuff and just talking deeply, right? And just knowing each other. So today, Sunday night, we're kind of ending the night on a good note, even though we haven't been able to find that good note for, at this point, it's probably been like 5 weeks-ish that disconnect kind of was able to come in and create space in the marriage. I can tell you that we are protected against bitterness, by like even me taking that moment to say, hey, I'm feeling X and Y and Z, and I just need you to know, even though she wasn't able to hear me in that very moment, I could see her reaching out. I could see her working hard. I could see her, taking steps to just support me, to use more appreciative language. We were able to be more affectionate as she got better. And so obviously the combination of affection and appreciation and time and knowing and just engaging really helped us to move through that disconnect that had grown. And so, yeah, that's been our month. It's been a long month, honestly. It's been a very long month, and I'm looking forward to next month because I'm glad that this one is over. But hopefully this is an encouragement to you because I know that you are finding seasons. I know that you're finding seasons of struggle, whether it be in mental health or chemical health, whether it be in a suffering child or illness, or medical struggles, financial stress. Everybody's walking the different seasons of suffering and on different levels with different layers. And so this is my encouragement to you to continue to invest in your marriage, to make it a bastion, to make it a port in the storm, to make it something that is protected, to make it something that honestly protects you and your life and your system from the weariness that sets in from long seasons of difficulty and disconnect. And maybe your season has been way longer than a month. Maybe you've been feeling disconnected or really struggling for a lot longer than that. And so I just want to encourage you to continue to lean in your marriage, continue to set aside 20 minutes to just know and connect, continue to plan date nights, to take weekends away if you need that, to have hard conversations and the 1,000 conflicts that are going to be necessary for you to move through this, to guard your marriage from bitterness and shame and fear and all of these things. So that's our episode for the day. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you like these kind of story-based ones and you want to just kind of know what's going on in our lives, you can feel free to let us know. We do have a Facebook group. You can jump on that. We kind of post updates and polls and questions. Actually, we got some really great responses just recently to a question that was posed about, like, what are some questions that you would like to ask a marriage counselor? So if you have any of those, you can shoot them over to us in an email or text us at the number in the description. We've got lots of marriage resources and different books and things down in our description, so feel free to check that out. We do want to overcome the Gottman podcast for 5-star reviews. And so this is the first that you're hearing about it. This is actually the first time that I'm like thinking about it. But Gottman has a podcast out there. I think it's like Small Things Often, I think is what they called it. Yes, they did. So yeah, Small Things Often. It has 447 almost 5-star reviews. So that's like a lot. That's like a big thing. But that's like our first goal is to, like, we have to overtake them. Because overtaking the Gottmans in anything would be pretty amazing. So help it out. Do the thing. Click the deal. The 5s. That'll be awesome. We will surpass them. We are definitely well on our way to surpassing them, which is great. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to shoot us a message. And we hope that you have an amazing week. Thanks, and have a good one. Bye, everyone.
I got you and me. All I want, I got all I need.
Marriage is the best. I think I'm going to start this entire thing over. This is ridiculous. All right, here we go. First of all, my sound cue is like a second late, which is annoying. But here we are. Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back to Marriage is the Best. I don't love that. Man, that's so annoying. I'm annoyed.